rotting driftwood on the foreign shores, spilling out into the ocean floor, and the memories all you've left without a trace. Paralyzed with the thoughts receding, current sweeps you with the silent bleeding through the heart into the darkest place. Well, turn around, there's nothing to see here. Run away, no reason to be here. It's the ghost who never goes away. Turn around and leave this behind now. You see the ground as it bleeds in the sky now. You fight the sea, you're always gonna drown. All the secrets that you're holding, all the memories you hide, all the frail thoughts that echo in the corners of your mind, they won't even last a moment. They will soon be swept away when the ocean takes you in its arms and carries you away. You carry all your burdens on the cross around your neck. You take whatever's left that you could salvage from the wreck, and the hard past will follow you like a lost dog on the beach, nipping at your trail till you've drifted out of reach. Yeah, turn around, there's nothing to see here. Run away, no reason to be here. It's the ghost who never goes away. Turn around and leave this behind now. See the ground as it leads to the sky now. You fight the sea, you're always gonna drown. In a broken line horizon, in the castles made of sand, you tried to hold it in your hands, you tried to understand it. The ocean asks the questions, and it holds the answers too. It dissolves away the lies about the things you thought you knew.
Hello, my friends. 'Tis I, Dame Armiger Calirania. My heart and my sword are yours. And 'tis I, Adelath Karakai II, bastard son of a real bastard. Your hearts are mine. And as we do every Sunday, we've been on a pretty good streak of it, in fact. We have John BloodRedTiger Whitehead, hello, here to share with us this magnum opus of a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fanfiction. Hello.
Howdy.
Oh gosh, this weekend, yesterday was not supposed to be a grand adventure exactly, but uh, the wifey and I spontaneously were like, okay, we had gotten up and we were kind of thinking of going out to the protests, but it was the timing was kind of awkward. We woke up late enough that we would have missed the initial march, but maybe we might have made it to the like rally part of things. But we hadn't eaten yet, so we just ended up going out for coffee and waffles. But
Coffles.
yeah, uh, in my infinite wisdom, I selected a waffle shop that was close to downtown where said protest was happening. So it was very busy. I struggled to find parking and was getting stressed out. We finally pulled into the curb somewhere. Hello, Rain. Yes. Waffles, pancakes. Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of a nice little shop. Like, just a tiny little cafe that does crepes and waffles and coffees. But yeah, like, I pulled into the curb, I found a spot between a couple of cars. It was several blocks away from where we wanted to go, but, we took a little walk. It was fine. But when we finished up and made the hike back out to where our car had been parked, the car was no longer there. I had put us in a towaway zone. It, like, I don't know how I missed the signs. Like, it was, that side of the street was no parking on Saturdays where there's a football game, apparently. We gotta keep the streets clear for the football peoples. So, but it must have been us and whose ever example we followed there, parking in betwixt. No, this was definitely my mistake. Though, yeah, I believe that cops would do that kind of thing. As a small mercy, they did not impound the vehicle. They simply pulled it away to a side street. And
That's nice.
yeah, like, we still owe a fairly hefty parking ticket, but at least we didn't need to wait until Monday when the impound lot opens up to go retrieve our car, nor did we need to separately pay the towing people or anything like that. So, that I like living in the city. I like having access to the restaurant scene and the social scene and all of the variety of things that you get in a city environment, but I do not like city parking and driving situations sometimes. John, I hope your weekend has been nicer than that, at least. I mean, the waffles were fine. The parking, not so much. What have you been up to?
I've had book club this morning, and
Ooh.
we've been watching the MotoGP. Which it, and some shopping.
What have you been
Lots of
covering
movies.
in your book club?
What did we read? We read a book called City of Stairs.
City of
Which is
Stairs.
kind of a murder mystery in a world where the gods have been killed, and even being aware of them is a crime.
Oh, okay.
But this city was a religious center, and it was largely created by the gods. So when the gods were killed off, the city sort of like mostly ceased to exist and all kind of collapsed in some reality jumble. So sometimes if you like squint down an alley, you can see something that's not supposed to be there, and there's all buildings that are all smushed together.
Whoa.
And everything went pear-shaped. It's actually really cool. City of Stairs by somebody or other, I can't remember. But it's the first of a trilogy.
Okay. Huh.
There's a bit in it where they've got a warehouse where they keep miraculous artifacts that they've been storing up and documenting, and some of them still work a bit, and the reports read like, the SCP Foundation. We found some boots. They're obviously 7-league boots. We found boots where a single strike can take you miles. So we did have 2 pairs, but now we've only got 1 pair. Remember to keep at least 1 foot on the ground. Obviously somebody's taken a stride and gone too fast and they're gone. Just off into space.
Boudin stuffed pork loin. Ah, that sounds tasty. And oh yeah, I like cities in general, but I hate American cities specifically. Yeah, that is probably fair. I would probably appreciate city living even more if I had decent public transportation. We finally got rid of our decrepit older second vehicle. We'd had this PT Cruiser that had been the wife's car when we first got together, but it was it would go for a few blocks and then probably conk out on you in the middle of an intersection. So we hadn't been driving it, and finally donated it to the local public radio station. They have a thing where they will take cars as donations, then they auction them off and send you the receipt for tax purposes. But the upshot of that is that I don't have a vehicle of my own, so I only have a car on the weekends. I'm like, I would love to, have opportunities to go out and do things during the week when the wife is at work on her second shift. But I don't know, if getting around via bus or etc. here is just not great. Yeah.
I deeply regret getting rid of my motorbike, but it was broken. I do need to get a replacement. But,
yeah, you were talking about maybe finding a new one.
The traffic around here is a nightmare.
Oh.
Everyone is an idiot. And it's sort of like, it doesn't matter how safe you drive if somebody runs over you. So, what you going to do?
Now, if you wanted... Okay, but while we're talking the urban planning and whatever of my part of the world versus yours, if you wanted to get around via, I don't know, train or bus or trolley or something, is that an option, or is it not great in your neighborhood?
I'm about 10 minutes away from a railway station. And I'm actually about 20 minutes away from a major railway station.
Okay.
And at the end I go down my road, and then to the edge of the estate, there's a main road where there's buses constantly. But yeah, I don't want to.
Well, yeah, you've got a little bit of social anxiety to contend with in situations like that. I remember you were saying that your book club was really kind of a venturing out of your shell kind of thing. So
yeah, meet some humans.
Yeah,
we're a fairly neurodivergent group, so that's all fun.
One reason I was trying to get myself running a little bit early today, at least I kind of got live around 10 o'clock as opposed to 10:30, is that we're going to be going to a crafting group. I don't know if I'll be participating. It depends on what they end up doing, I suppose. But, like, this is something that a co-worker of Moth's, I guess, is involved with, and she joined up a little bit in past occasions. They've moved it to a different location now. It's not in somebody's house, but they're gonna meet up at the library. So I'm gonna tag along this time, see what they're up to. I don't know whether I will join in learning some kind of craft, or I will do some writing, or maybe I will just peruse the library. But that is why I was trying to get myself moving a little bit earlier today.
You must make a thing.
I must make a thing.
Yeah, come on, that's so cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
Any opportunity to do a thing, you've got to do the thing.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what they are up to.
Even
Crocheting
if it's just painting
or
a
something.
smiley face on a plate or something. That's so fun.
We should play face on a plate. Anyway, we're here to read a story. Speaking of things that we have created, we are on chapter 51 of the Sunnydale Imp. We are now in the maybe back 1/3 of the story. We're starting to kill off villains. We've gotten rid of Keats. Not even on screen. Poor sap. He was just kind of deleted in between times that we saw Mickey. But Sheridan is still out there, and
it hasn't even been explained what Mickey actually did to Keats.
Yeah.
Except when asked, "Did you kill him?" she said, "Yeah, it would have been cruel otherwise."
Right.
Like, wow.
And Murgon was wounded, but he's still around. I don't know if he's going to be a recurring villain or if he's jumped town, but...
Oh no, Murgon comes back.
Okay.
He's not one to give up.
Okay. And I don't know the specific situation at hand. I don't think there was anything super urgent going on. Mickey and Buffy were gonna go patrolling together. Yeah.
Mickey had recently guzzled in a load of power using a magic circle on a rug, but then she's gone and expended a lot of that power by murdering everybody she could get hold of in Willie's bar.
Right. Okay.
And also trashing the place down to absolute matchsticks.
Thankfully, this is
everything.
This is a somewhat regular occurrence at Willie's. The place gets rebuilt a couple times a season. Okay. When Mickey finally arrived home, she was, to her own surprise, actually feeling a little tired. Buffy had wanted to go for a run, and it had quickly turned into a friendly competition, each girl pushing the pace faster and faster until they were both sprinting. Not super fast, but fast enough to frighten traffic. It was fun. They may have missed a few things, but they covered a lot of ground, and likely startled more than a few lurking monsters. Buffy said she rarely patrolled the very outskirts of the town, so they did a few loops around, just to remind the local bad guys that nowhere was really safe for them. When a monster did accidentally catch the pair's attention, the two warriors doubled back and closed in from opposite directions, making a race of it. Whoever arrived first got to deal the first blow. Buffy was determined to win, because when Mickey struck first, there wasn't much else to do. And in between one-sided encounters with bad guys, they'd found time to chat about stuff, such as comparing their lives and adventures. Mickey found the Slayer stories scary but exciting, while Buffy found the Devil Girls' tales horrifying and mind-boggling in equal measure. Whereas Sunnydale tended to throw out demons and magic on an almost weekly basis, Mickey's enemies ran the full gamut from aliens and robots to demonic possession and sentient slime. The creatures she called friends were a weird bunch as well, with Jack Gray being one of the most normal. It turned out that Buffy wasn't used to working as a team, so Mickey shared some of the stuff she'd learned from fighting alongside other superpowered warriors. Buffy found the terms like bricks and blasters pretty cute, and she made Mickey promise to write down some of her battle stories for future reference. Bricks and blasters. It's like City of Heroes.
Yep.
The
Bricks, blasters, movers, and wildcards, I think, are 4 terms I picked up from somewhere.
What in Wildcats?
Movers and wildcards.
Movers and
Yep.
wild cards. Okay, gotcha. Bricks, blasters, movers, wild cards. Okay. No, Wildcats, that was a different... That was a Supers
Image?
Comics by Image, I think?
Image Comics, yeah.
Yeah.
Maul and Warblade and them lot. I remember that.
I tried reading those briefly. I found them pretty funny. There was this, like, whole fight sequence where people are chewing up the place with machine gun fire and whatnot, and at the end of it, they're like, "No, we weren't trying to hurt you, we just wanted to talk." Like, what? What was the guns then? Anyway. The Slayer quite often did have backup, or even a partner in combat, but she and Angel fought as warriors, not soldiers. They were individually deadly, but they weren't a team, and that was as much her fault as his. The Slayer spirit didn't share, and vampires were also solitary hunters by nature. Zaradai imps hunted in packs, so working as a team came naturally, even when the power sets were drastically different. "Wolves hunt in packs too," Mickey told her, "so Jack totally gets it. Me and Jack are awesome as a team." She really hoped he'd get here soon. This world needed some proper superheroes. Mickey toddled through the lair, humming to herself as she stashed her night's loot in the new treasure/trophy/music room. She had a bunch of paper money and some shiny coins, but no treasure chest to put them in, so she stuffed them into one of the wallets. She decided she would try to find a proper money storage thingy when she went shopping with Buffy in the morning. Considering how weirdly hostile the blonde girl had been at first, things were going really well between them now. Obviously, it was because the Slayer had a job to do. You couldn't just go around making friends if you might have to slay them the next day. That would suck. She was just protecting herself, and Mickey could understand that. Now Mickey was on the team. Unofficially. Buffy promised they'd make her a real Scooby at Giles' place tomorrow afternoon, when they watched the movie. And how awesome was that? An actual movie about her? So soon? After a moment's thought, she decided it must be based on the story she wrote, because nobody else here knew enough about her to make a movie. Nobody was going to bother watching the adventures of a girl who woke up in a field, went to school, and lived in a really sweet cave, no matter how cute the star they got to play her. But we will read that story. There was a thought. Why didn't they ask her to play herself? Acting didn't look like it was that hard. You just had to say a bunch of stuff and wear the right clothes. And she was already an expert at the last part. She wondered if the movie had a title. If not, she was going to suggest Makisha-geddon, or Impocalypse, or The Fork of Wrath. No point thinking too much on it right now, she decided, chuckling. I'll find out what the deal is tomorrow. She wandered into the bedroom, magically stripped down to her undies for sleeping, and climbed up into her new bed. She still needed to find Xander so she could thank him for all his hard work. That angel guy had already proved that her lair was enough of a home to repel vampires, so there wasn't really any pressing need to keep on upgrading the place, except to make it nicer and cozier. Maybe he was planning on moving in. They could be roomies or housemates, whatever the word was. Homies? That sounded right. Nice and domestic. She'd have to ask when she next saw him. The imp snuggled into the bed covers and smiled when she realized he wasn't alone. Or she wasn't alone. It looked like she was going to get her chance sooner than expected. First, she crept closer and pulled back the covers to make sure it really was Xander. Not that she'd mind snuggling with Willow or Cordelia, but she had a plan. Satisfied with her initial inspection, she reached down under the covers and started gently peeling off his t-shirt. He's gonna be so surprised, she thought. I bet nobody's done this before. Buffy was also about to settle down for a few hours' sleep before sunrise, but before she could doze off completely, she was woken by a familiar tap-tap at the window. Her first thought was that Mickey had followed her home for some reason, before logic set in and she realized it was almost certainly Angel. She slipped out of bed and went to the window. Angel looked bothered by something, his pale face more broody and unhappy than usual, so she quickly opened the window to let him in.
Did you find her?
He asked, climbing through the opening without so much as a greeting. Buffy nodded. Yes, I found her. She was in her cave, like you said. We went out for a run, took down 3 vampires and 2 weird demon guys. Plus, we flushed out a vampire nest near the airport.
The airport?
He blinked.
That's outside your usual patrol area. Were you looking for anything in particular?
No, we just wanted to run for a bit. Mickey's damn quick, for somebody with such short legs. Angel just frowned at that.
Did she have a rib cage when you found her?
I assume you mean a rib cage other than, her own rib cage? Because obviously she had her own rib cage. The vampire gave her a flat look, so she gave him what he wanted. And yes, she also had some kind of giant monster rib cage from somewhere. She said she won it in a fight. Which, probably means she killed something and kept the bones. Angel grimaced.
She told me she'd found it, and swore she hadn't been fighting.
Are you serious? She laughed. You didn't believe her, I hope.
She was pretty beat up and covered in blood, so no, I didn't. Why would she steal a demon's bones? Who does that?
Buffy gave him a knowing smile. She wants to play the bones like a xylophone. Same as in those old-timey cartoons. I bet it's all the rage back home in hell.
Well, however she got it, I think I know where she found it. There's a guy named Mantle, a regular at the alibi room.
The what now?
Willie's place?
Oh, Willie's place has a name?
Had a name. It looks like somebody went in and put him out of business.
A fight? Is Willie okay? He shrugged.
No idea. He wasn't one of the corpses, but Mantle was. Or most of him. Looks like Mickey tried to debone a Fjarl demon as well, but changed her mind partway through.
Well, to be fair, Mickey was pretty upset that Willie gave her poison. I'd probably want some revenge too in her place.
You don't understand. Everything in the place has been destroyed. Tables, chairs, the bar, every single bottle has been smashed.
Big deal. So the Oogly Booglies don't have a dive bar for a few nights while Willie sweeps out all the crap and gets some new furniture shipped in. It's not like it was a classy place to begin with. Oh, hello, Unicorn.
She killed a snake demon and stamped the corpse completely flat.
But Willie's not there, you said.
He could have gone to ground, but it's just as likely his body's stuffed in a hole somewhere.
Buffy shook her head. No, she wouldn't do that. I specifically told her he was human and she's not to break him. She'll have chased him away, or he fled when she started wrecking stuff. Angel frowned and Buffy rolled her eyes. Look, I'm going round there in the morning. I'll have a word with her. Make sure there's no dead bartender hanging up in her trophy room or anything, okay? Angel's frown remained in place as Buffy chased him back out through the window. It clearly wasn't okay at all, but there was nothing he could do about it for now. Angel scowled at the slowly brightening sky. Despite his plans to the contrary, he'd spent the last few hours perched atop Sunnydale High School, glaring down at the small copse of trees where Makisha had dug her burrow. She hadn't come back out, and was probably sleeping soundly, doubtless surrounded by bones and bizarre treasures pried from the wreckage of her victims. He sighed. This was going to end badly. The Devil Girl had been saying all along she needed her friend Jack to keep her from going bad, and this was clearly the first sign that she was about to go off the deep end. Buffy and the others might be strong enough to keep her under control, but only if they recognized the danger. Buffy was so excited to finally have a friend she could fight alongside, an ally during the day, that he wasn't sure he could make her understand. He wanted to keep watch, but the sun would rise soon, and he'd have no choice but to abandon his vigil. Xander awoke in total darkness. Not a surprise. Mickey's bedroom windows were just clear tent panels, and the outside view came courtesy of scenic beach towels. I wonder if she could replace those with some posters. Xander knew where he could get hold of some city skylines or woodland scenes. He smiled to himself. Home building was fun. He checked his watch, thankful for the light-up dial. 5:30 a.m. Way early. Plenty of time for him to get home for some clothes and a shower, without being noticed. But maybe he'd wait a little for the sun to come up a bit higher. Didn't expect to find any vampires hunting at this hour, but better safe than sorry. It wasn't a school day after all, so there was no rush. Plus, the warm body snuggled up against his back felt kinda nice. And the bed was really warm and cozy compared to the early morning cave air. He frowned then. Mickey was snuggled up against his bare back, but that wasn't right. He'd gone to bed fully clothed. He moved to lift the bed covers and found one of Mickey's delicate leathery wings draped across his shoulder. He desperately tried to work out what could have happened to his shirt, but only one answer suggested itself. Mickey had taken it off him while he slept. That answer led to another question, and he wasn't sure he wanted an answer. He lay perfectly still for a long time, before finally plucking up the courage to check below the waist. Yes, I'm still wearing trousers, thank you God. Not that he thought the Devil Girl would do anything against his will, But if he was asleep and she was feeling curious, there was no telling what she could get up to. Maybe I should have a word, he reasoned. Make sure she knows there are boundaries. He reached out and fumbled around until he found the bedside lamp. He thumbed the switch and blinked as the battery-powered bulb suffused the room with its dim illumination. It was enough to see, but not enough to hurt your eyes. He slowly squirmed around, pushing Mickey's wing over until she reflexively folded it against her back. She could only do that, of course, because she was lying on her front and only covered from the waist down. Yup, she's completely topless. Damn. She's not a succubus, but she sure is a temptress. I bet she doesn't even know what she's doing to me. And this, he realized, was how she behaved around a guy who was just a friend. Poor Larry must be going nuts. Xander grit his teeth. On behalf of teenage boys everywhere in this situation, I have to know. He took a deep breath and gingerly lifted the cover from Mickey's backside. Yup, panties. Okay. Her tail twitched, and he quickly dropped the cover and lay back, eyes closed. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Yep, fast asleep. That's me. Snore, snore, etc. Mickey didn't move or make a sound. Was she pretending to sleep as well? Did she know what he just did? Xander bit his lip. I am in so much trouble. He pretended to roll slightly and used the back of his hand to give Mickey a safe little nudge in the ribs. She didn't react, so he nudged her a bit harder. Okay, technically a shove. The imp gave a mighty yawn before rolling away from him onto her side. Xander got a brief eyeful before Mickey suddenly vanished from sight over the side of the bed, landing with a squawk and a thump. Ow! Xander sat up, concerned, but Mickey was fine and jumped to her feet indignantly.
Yike!
He clapped his hands to his eyes.
I'm not looking. I didn't see anything.
Yes, you did! He couldn't see, but he'd spent enough time around Buffy to recognize the unmistakable sound of a girl pout.
Nope. Nuh-uh. Nothing. Or a pair of things.
You're supposed to tell me I'm pretty. Xander sighed.
Don't be like that. You are pretty, but you're also... boobs. Put them away, please.
You're weird, she grumbled. Jack doesn't mind me being naked. It's not like anybody else can see.
Yes, I'm weird, and I never thought I'd be hiding from boobs either.
I never figured you were a prude. You didn't seem to mind touching them when you thought I was asleep. He gasped, thinking back to that night. His hand curled guiltily.
Wait, you weren't asleep?
He opened his eyes and noticed that she'd magicked up a tight leather vest. Xander kept his eyes above shoulder height just to be safe. She chuckled. Aha! Gotcha! That was just a guess, but you see my point, right?
Yeah, well, that night wasn't my fault. You snuggled up to me, and I just woke up with my hand there.
I don't mind. I like snuggling up. If I had a problem with it, I'd keep my top on. Xander thought that was unlikely. She told him several times that she got too hot in bed, a statement he was trying to take literally in spite of the perfect perky goodness he'd just witnessed. He grit his teeth.
Giles told me to be careful, in case you tried to do some kind of succubus stuff or charm me or something.
The imp glowered. If I had succubus powers, you wouldn't be asking me to cover up. Duh.
Well, speaking of covering up, why am I topless? I definitely had a shirt on when I went to sleep.
Mickey grinned and Xander stared in shock.
Did you pick a fight with the Tooth Fairy or something?
Ah, fine. I'll fix it. Jeez.
Funny that he jumps right to bizarre quips about the Tooth Fairy rather than, assuming she got punched in the mouth during one of her scuffles, as would be reasonable. But apparently she can just fix it. However, bone regrowing healing magic or something?
As she can, she just doesn't get around to it.
Okay. Whoops. Ha. By the time Buffy... Oh, go ahead.
So I was just saying, so long as I'm still pretty.
So long as I'm still pretty.
Well, the titles are the fun bit.
Right, yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to skip it. Yeah. 52. So long as I'm still pretty. By the time Buffy arrived at Mickey's lair, Xander was long gone. Weird boy, Mickey thought again. As soon as I mentioned that Buffy was coming around, he couldn't get out here fast enough. She didn't even get a chance to suggest that maybe they could all snuggle together. She didn't think Buffy was into girl snuggles, but perhaps she could be tempted if Xander was there as well? Oh no, Xander was right. I am trying to do the tempty stuff. The imp froze for a couple of seconds, locked into panicked indecision. She didn't know what to do, and there was nobody she could ask. Think. What would Jack say? She racked her brain, tried to consider all the angles. She might be trying to do a bad thing, but she hadn't actually said or done anything yet. No harm, no foul, she said aloud, but keep an eye on it. She nodded to herself, agreeing with her imagined advice. All she had to do was pay attention and nip this bad behavior in the bud before it became a habit.
As Jack Gray becomes a headmate?
Maybe. Can imps introject? They don't have consciences, but maybe they can have plurality? as a substitute?
Just rules, I think. She can learn. Can learn to fake it.
Yeah. Everything is fixable, just some cosmetics. Yeah. Get a little fake fangs to cap over, like a little cap to put over. Yeah. A little morality is a treat. Little amorality if you want to be closer to the original meme. She didn't know what nipping in the bud actually meant, but figured it was something unpleasant and possibly painful. She'd been nipped on the butt a few times by Jack when she was being bad and he had to pretend he was a normal wolf. It hadn't hurt exactly because Mickey was super tough, but the message was clear. Stop being bad or I'll eat you. But Jack wasn't here, so she was going to have to nip herself in the butt. Or, she suddenly shouted, gripped by a great idea, I can find somebody else to do it. Yes, that was a great idea. Why hadn't she thought of that sooner? She needed a temporary stand-in guardian. She scooped up her markers and ran to grab some paper. Time to turn this idea into a plan. The sun was up, but Sheridan couldn't rest. She resisted the torpor of her kind, defying the usual daytime urge to sleep. The sun was up, but today was not a normal day. Keats was dead. She could feel it, feel his absence, feel the sudden lack of his faint, creeping influence. She'd never really understood the power he held over her. It had always just been there, a subtle, nebulous thing, barely noticed behind the constant threats and violence. Keats had been, a petty, spiteful monster. Does this not fall into the tempting thingy category? Because it depends on exactly what she has in mind. If she's not trying to nudge people into doing something naughty, but into doing something anti-naughty, then it's not temptation. That's goodness. But no, oh, good. No, okay. But no more. Sheridan was free. Free to pursue her own plans, stake out her own slice of whatever the Hellmouth had to offer. Whatever she wanted, she could take, would take, in her own time, on her own terms. Her own plans, her own lair, her own minions. But first, she would need respect. She couldn't hide behind her sire's coattails. Not that she ever had, but it was easy to let him take care of all the bluster and showmanship. Now everybody would know that her sire was dead, and she would look weak if she let that insult go unanswered. By any measure, Keats had failed, utterly and completely. Sheridan had to move fast, before the stain of that failure became hers. She knew roughly when her sire had perished, but she didn't need to know how or even where. The why was probably obvious, so that just left the question of who. Was it the Slayer? Or was it that damned devil girl? She still had Murgon's business card in her pocket. Now she needed to get to a phone. Buffy crept through the bushes and into the top-secret entrance of the top-secret imp cave. There was nobody around, but there was no point taking chances. Plus, sneaking just sort of came naturally. Once in the tunnel, she took a breath, and announced herself the same way as last time. Hopefully, Mickey would remember the deal. "Knock, knock," she called semi-quietly as she made her way in. And then Mickey appeared right there in front of her, and Buffy did her best not to flinch. "It's you!" "Uh-huh, yeah, it's me. And also you. Ready to go shopping?" She cast an appraising eye over the imp's outfit, a black leather vest and baggy olive cargo pants. Mickey took her cue and also looked down. "Is this okay?" she asked. "I can copy yours if you like." Buffy gritted her teeth. No, that should be fine." They set off walking, and Mickey pulled a page from her pocket. "I made a shopping list," she announced. Buffy took it and read out the first few items. It wasn't easy. Mickey's angular scrawl barely qualified as English. Girl, not shy, bossy, not evil? She frowned at the imp. What is this? She scanned the rest of the items, glossing over the spelling disasters. Tall, speaks English, knows secret, brave, snuggles, not scared of boobies? What the hell? Mickey quickly snatched the page out of her hand and shoved a different page at her. Wrong list! Yeah, but what was that? The replacement list was much shorter and somewhat normal. Milk, cereal, hats, socks. The imp stuffed the mysterious list back into her pocket. "I'll explain some other time." Mickey thought Sunnydale's shopping mall was kinda dingy. She'd seen worse, of course. Way worse. But she'd also seen substantially nicer. She decided not to say anything in case Buffy took offense, but she knew this world was also a few years in the past, So she figured they probably wouldn't have any high-tech fun stuff. That said, this world had lots of magic stuff going on, so maybe she'd be able to buy some magic weapons or armor or a pet dragon. She hadn't put anything like that on her list, though. Avoid disappointment. Always best to manage your expectations. So Buffy took her shopping, which somehow translated into shopping for clothes. And in Buffy's mind, shopping for clothes meant shopping for shoes, so they went straight to a shoe store that the blonde girl liked. Mickey wasn't looking for shoes. She wanted socks in all different colors to put in her sock drawer. She was going to line them up and organize them, like normal people did. It made sense that the sock store would be next to the shoe store, so she dashed outside to look. Nope, no socks, not even clothes. Normal people? She wandered back in to where Buffy was trying on, like, her 15th pair of shoes. She seemed pretty familiar with the staff. "Do you come in here a lot?" she asked. "Haven't you seen all these already?" "I come here a lot, sure, but the stock changes regularly, and I need to see how they look on a day. See how they make me feel. I won't buy a pair unless they speak to me." She looked up. "Not literally. I just mean they have to be perfect." Mickey rolled her eyes. "They're just shoes, though. You already have shoes. I've seen you in all different pairs every day, so you must have... Whoa!" A pair of sneakers across the room. "Oh, hello, Yuzu." "Chopping onions, okay." "Ah, yes. Yuzu has officially moved to Germany. And I believe part of the deal is doing some chores and other assistance for room and board, so I imagine the onion chopping is part of the arrangement. Or maybe she's just being helpful. You would just snack on onions? Just... like... in what manner of preparation, Roynicorn? Or is it just just crunch? Black, but decorated with red and yellow flames like a hot rod. She blipped over there without thinking and grabbed them. "What are these?" she demanded. She ran back to Buffy, who had jumped up to chase after her, hobbling with one shoe in her hand. Look at these! They're amazing! You didn't tell me they had these!" "You didn't ask? Besides, they're right there on the shelf with all the other..." She trailed off for a moment. The other stuff like that. I'm more into these sort of shoes myself. Classy ones." Mickey stared for a moment. "But these are awesome! I must have them. Can I buy them? Are they expensive?" Buffy pulled a face. "They're like $50. Try them on first, see if they're comfy." "I'd probably like some dip, maybe garlic, but raw onion rings, not the dish, just the shape of the thing. Interesting." I guess I would nibble on onions while I'm preparing them, but I don't know that I would think of just having them as a snack. Huh. Okay! Mickey sat down on the ground and yanked off her boots. The sneakers' shoelaces weren't on properly, and it took her a while to tease them open enough to get her foot in. "They fit," she announced, "and with room to spare." Room to spare? Buffy walked over and gave the sneakers a prod. "These are way too big. What size are you?" Small?" "I mean your feet. What size are your feet? I don't know. Probably also small? Yeah, that's what I figured. The blonde girl sighed. You want to get measured or try on some different sizes? There are different sizes? Like smaller but still the same? With the flames? I want the flames. Let's get you measured. Find out what size shoes you need. You don't have, like, claws on your toes or anything, do you? Not at the moment. Mickey pulled off the sneakers and wiggled her toes. See? Her toenails were the same as her fingernails, which meant they were jet black and hard as iron. They were sharp, but not pointed, so they wouldn't chomp through her shoes. Hopefully. I could buy some socks to make my feet bigger. That's how they used to do it. Buffy stared. You mean in the past? Like medieval times? Yeah. Well, we're not doing that. We buy shoes that fit instead. She dragged Mickey over to the counter and beckoned at an assistant. She needs measuring. She's from Europe, so we don't know her US size. The assistant raised an eyebrow.
Okay, what's your European size?
Buffy grimaced. Small?
I'll get the gauge.
They watched as the young woman hurried away, but she didn't get far before being accosted by an angry middle-aged redhead. Excuse me, miss. Is it company policy to leave boots in the middle of the floor? I could have tripped over and might hurt myself. I could sue. I've half a mind to call your manager right now. The woman pointed, and Mickey looked over to where she'd left her boots. Oops. She quickly unsummoned them while nobody was looking. The assistant scratched her head and walked over there with the woman in tow.
Now the assistant's turned female now.
Whatever.
Boots, you say?
They were right here. Black boots, ridiculous platform shoes with a red band and a gold badge. The assistant shook her head.
Doesn't sound like anything we sell.
Well.
Now, if you'll excuse me.
So after some fiddling, the woman tried to squish Mickey's feet in some kind of contraption and announced that she was a size 5. She then produced a pair of the flamey sneakers that fit her feet nice and snug, but with room for some socks. She wore them immediately, of course. Buffy bought a pair of shimmery, strappy sandal things with a tall, thin heel. They looked really silly and impractical, and she left them in a box, which she put in a bag. Mickey thought that was a waste. Why do you need to buy actual shoes anyway? Asked Buffy, frowning. I figured you'd frown at me if I stole them. No, well, yes, but, I mean, can't you just magic up a pair just like them? Oh, yeah, but I'm treating myself, since I have some money spare. I mean, I already have food, and what else am I going to spend the money on? Buffy raised a brow. A tall, bossy girl, according to your other list? Possibly for snuggles? Mickey's eyes went real wide. I'm not trying to buy a girl. She quickly turned and scanned the storefronts. Is that a thing, though? Just like, is it? No, totally not a thing. Okay, right. Anyway, these shoes won't dissolve in holy water and leave me barefoot, so that's also good. Huh, yeah. Some public nudity's never welcome. Mickey nodded, pleased at her own wisdom. But on the subject of having enough food, my belly says it's time for more food. It's about that time, yeah. You hungry? Mickey nodded. Turns out I can't exist on nothing but evil energy. Gotta eat some food now and then, too. What do you fancy? Burgers, or hot dogs, or kebabs. Anything that's mostly meat. I have a high metabolism, so I need lots of protein. Buffy chuckled. I know your imps are carnivorous back in your native environment. It's no big deal. Interesting that when you got modified, that included being able to eat veggies. Mickey blinked. We didn't just eat meat. Imps will eat anything they can find. Life's tough. You can't afford to be picky. So what did you guys usually eat? Other than, she dropped her voice to a whisper. The damned? Let's see, Renicorn hates all the different sizes, especially as someone wearing both men's and women's stuff. Hate having to calculate between gendered sizes. Yeah, I'm having to make the shift myself from one to the other. And, yeah. Having worked in a secondhand charity shop, it was so confusing when we got clothing with exclusively measurements from China, because nobody knew how to translate those. Oof. Oh yeah, pants are measured in inches. The waist and inseam. Japanese shoe sizes are in centimeters. Okay.
Yeah, just literally how big is your foot, not in
Right,
some
yeah, that seems like
made up size.
Yeah, why wouldn't we do that? Yeah, that makes too much sense. Fungus, plants. Sometimes we found fruit. Forbidden fruit? Kinda. Temptation for the mortals. If they eat it, it adds to their sentence. But it's already practically infinite, so I don't know what the point is. Makes them sad, I guess. No negative effects on devils, I take it. We lived there anyway. No illusions about getting out early for good behavior. I guess not. Oh, and sometimes if other devils wandered in our territory, they'd end up as food. Nobody's safe when imps are hunting. I need a drink. I need to keep working on my voice technique so I don't strain myself quite so much reading Mickey. It's probably just need to give it more breath support and better forward resonance so I'm not pushing quite so hard to get that pitch. Buffy watched in mild jealousy as Mickey tucked into a double cheeseburger with extra cheese, while she herself picked at a fairly bland salad. Not that she wouldn't eat a burger given the opportunity, but she didn't want to be seen pigging out in public. No such concern for the imp, who was probably cloaked by her illusion of normalcy, and could eat a whole roast hog without anyone batting an eye. No need to rush that, she said. We're not due at Giles' place until 2. I've still got to find some milk and cereal, objected Mickey, and I don't know when that is. We've got about an hour. We can grab your groceries and walk over there easily enough, trust me. Take your time, chew your food. The girl very deliberately took a tiny nibbling bite of her bun. Ha ha. Okay, fine, eat it your way, but don't complain to me when it squirts relish everywhere. Mickey set the burger down for a moment. You guys are gonna make me a Scooby this afternoon? For real? Officially? Yep. Official secret handshake and code words and everything. And then we're gonna give you a makeover. We're gonna paint your face so you look human. Mickey looked dubious. Is that official? Do I have to keep it like that all the time? What? No. It's just so we can take a human-looking photo for your ID cards. You wanted to see what your illusion looks like, remember? Oh yeah! She chopped her burger some more and spoke through the crumbs. I don't really mind, though, so long as I'm still pretty. Buffy shrugged. No idea. I haven't seen it. Mickey nodded thoughtfully. I wonder what color my skin is. That is kind of funny. So, like, not being able to look at the mirror and assess your own
She just-
appearance at all. Like, it's not the actual, or it's not the appearance that people actually see.
Yeah, she doesn't see what everyone else sees.
Yeah.
She just sees herself.
Yeah. Speaking of which, chapter 53 is titled The Exact Same Face.
Yay, Giles.
Okay, yeah. Rupert Giles answered the door and looked down at his diminutive slayer.
Good afternoon, Buffy.
He looked down even further to the imp at her side.
And Mikisha. Welcome.
He stood aside and the pair walked in. "We've been shopping," explained Mickey, holding her bags aloft. "I found some milk that won't go bad."
Ah, UHT? Long life?
The girl shrugged. "It comes in boxes, so it stacks up neatly. I also got these." She pulled up her trouser legs to show off a pair of black, high-topped sneakers decorated with flames.
How, appropriate, I suppose.
Buffy chuckled. "Are we early? Earlier than Willow, I mean?" Giles glanced at the wall clock.
It's only 1:45. I'm sure Willow will be on time.
Mickey listened. "And Xander?"
Mr. Harris will arrive according to his own unpredictable schedule, I'm sure.
Buffy nodded. "He said he'd bring popcorn." She smiled at Giles' expression of anguish. "Don't worry, Giles. We won't leave crumbs all over your couch." Mickey left her shopping bags on the floor and scampered through into the sitting room. "Movie night!" she yelled and flopped onto the couch. "Is this gonna be big enough for, She began counting on her fingers, but immediately gave up. "For everybody?" She measured the cushions with her hands. "We girls don't take up much room, but still, I can sit on somebody's lap. I don't mind." Giles cleared his throat.
There are other seats. We'll make do.
"And nobody will be able to see the screen if your wings are in their face," added Buffy. "Besides, we want you front and center, since you're the star of the show." Talking shoes, I hate that your feet are so large. Shops have at best like 2 high heels to choose from and only on their website, never in the... yeah, that's part of the sort of thing that I'm running into. I've not been super in any great hurry to do very high heels. Like, that never really appealed to me, even pre-transition. But it took a little bit of work to find the right size for the boots that I've got, yeah. Sitting room is a Britishism, but yeah, it is Giles' house. So Giles is British, so it doesn't really... I think it works here, yeah. Yeah, if we really wanted an absolute sentence by sentence British versus Americanese proofread, I could probably do that. There's a few oddments that we've run across.
There's probably more accidental British stuff that the Americans are saying, rather than deliberate British things that I've put in for
Right, yeah. Like
the oddbods.
Yeah, like
Mickey gets British stuff because it makes her sound different and strange, whereas Giles gets British stuff because he's British.
Well, and I don't know. I guess in her whatever alternate universe that she comes from, she knocks about in the equivalent of
British.
British hell. Yeah. Yeah, it's so everybody. So I would say we say both, but every one is probably a little more common. But like,
it's like nobody can see you.
yeah,
You say, don't do that. No one will see you.
Yeah.
He says, "Is anybody here?"
Yeah. Like, I don't think that, like, somebody saying anybody wouldn't really, like, it wouldn't ring strange at all. I think it's common enough that that's not as big deal. But, like, somebody saying tinned instead of canned food, for instance, does ring weird.
A can is a drink. It's got a flat top that you need to use a tin opener on. You will say a can opener or a tin opener is interchangeable.
Yeah.
As well.
Language is weird.
Tinned veg and fruit and drinks.
Yeah. There was one that we just passed a chapter or two back. Don't usually say trousers. It's pants. Which is probably quite funny to you, but pants, not trousers. Okay, like, unless you want to be more specific, like slacks or jeans, but the generic is pants, not trousers. Yeah.
I think that was Mickey pulling them up to show Giles are trainers. So yeah.
Well, no, and no, not just now. It was Xander.
Xander. Yeah.
Mm.
I am still wearing trousers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, to us, pants could well mean just underwear.
Yeah, that's... Which is... Well, I mean, that still kind of works. I keep checking these. Oh, no. Okay. Right. I am? I mean, yeah, I know it's about me, but I'm not in the movie, am I? Nobody's explained this to me yet. Giles gave Buffy a dark look. He had expected her to explain where the tape came from, but got only a cheerful shrug in return. He sighed.
When you were kidnapped on Friday, you were apparently placed into a magical pool that would display your thoughts, or maybe your memories, or even dreams. I don't know which, but the kidnappers arranged a video camera to record the images.
He glanced aside.
Buffy stole the tape while rescuing you.
Mickey thought about that for a second, before saying, "Oh." Then she thought some more. So I am in the video? Giles and Buffy both nodded. Is there sound?
Actually, yes, there is.
Cool. I hope it's my memories, not my thoughts. My thoughts are boring most of the time, and my dreams are probably super weird. Yeah, pantsuit. Yeah, that's why over on Twitch I have the pantsuit channel point redeem. Yep. Nobody was sure how to answer that, so there was considerable relief when the doorbell rang. That'll be Willow, suggested Buffy.
I'll let her in,
said Giles, hurrying away. Oh, yeah, the channel point redeem over on Twitch. Yes, this was a thing that I came up with way at the beginning because, I don't know, I thought it would be funny. There's two, like, vaguely, risque redeems on my Twitch channel. There's show us the feet, which if you redeem that, then I will like pan the avatar up so you can actually see the feet. And pantsu, which I give a description of what underwear I'm wearing today. Because these are two things that VTuber fans are always very curious about, is feet and what are the color of the pantsuit. Yeah. Certain parties were very fond of those. Certain parties who are no longer tuned in, but yeah.
Black with a purple stripe here, if anyone's interested.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, there are no channel points on YouTube, so...
Information wants to be free.
Yeah. I got tie-dye today. Yeah. Yeah. See, the other so yeah, part of the reason for that is just the joke that VTuber fans are weird and they like to know about, they like to see feet and they like to know about underwear. The other half of it was that at the time I was a subscriber to MeUndies like monthly shipment. So I would get a pair of underwear with some new print or color or whatever every month. So I had this wide variety of different underwear. So it was going to be a different answer every time. So it was actually interesting.
I had a friend who was gifted some briefs with the word ticklish on the front. It's like, I can't wear those. Everyone will know I'm ticklish. And I was like, what do you mean, everyone?
Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Okay. Right. He returned moments later with not just Willow, but also Xander. Mickey twisted on the couch and waved at the pair, who waved back.
I see the gang's all here.
Said Xander, waving a plastic bag.
And I brought snacks. Let's dim the lights and get this party started, huh?
Not yet, fussed Willow, hefting a bag of her own. You brought snacks, I brought makeup. Buffy moved to her friend's side, and together they stared him down. We're going to give Mickey a makeover so she looks human. Xander frowned.
It's gonna take more than makeup. She's got horns. Please don't tell me you've got a belt sander in there.
No, silly. We'll take some photographs so Miss Calendar can fix the horns and the ears on her computer. We're just gonna change her skin tone so real Mickey looks like illusion Mickey. The imp suddenly appeared at Xander's side, making him jump. They're gonna make me a real girl! Giles put the kettle on while the girls got to work. Buffy had never actually seen Makisha's illusion at work, so it was down to Willow to choose the foundation colors, while Giles gave his own opinions from the kitchen.
She was tanned, I'd say. Dusky even. Possibly a Middle Eastern complexion.
Willow looked helplessly at the selection, and Buffy pointed out some possibilities. Mickey sat and did her best not to fidget as the girls daubed her face with thick layers of color. The imp had never even tried to apply makeup before, at least not without magic, so she was reduced to the role of canvas for the time being. After what felt like forever, they studied their handiwork. They look like cardboard, Mickey complained. We're still working on it, explained Buffy. We need to get a base color to work from. Your illusion includes makeup, so we're going to try some blends and stuff over this. Just hold still and let the masters work. Okay, if you're sure. They smudged on more colors, pushed them around with brushes and sponges, layered on more color until they were fairly happy. That's about how I remember her, said Willow. Giles walked over for a look.
Don't forget the lips,
He murmured.
And she wore eyeshadow. The dark grey-green should work if you have it.
The girls gave him identical, incredulous looks, and he coughed.
I am a trained observer, you know.
He raised a brow.
Don't forget her neck either, or she's going to look very strange.
Buffy turned back to Mickey, rummaging through the lipsticks. Okay, lips. What color? The imp shrugged. Whatever works over black, I guess. The end result was almost perfect. Unless you got too close and noticed how thick the girls had caked on the mismatched blend of foundation and concealer they'd used to get the right tone. Mickey magically swapped her top to a school-appropriate blouse and jacket, then posed against a plain patch of wall for the photographs. "Should I smile?" she asked, already beaming like a cartoon princess. Nope. Straight face, please. This is for school." Mickey rolled her eyes, then did her best impression of somebody serious, studious, thoughtful. Willow lowered the camera. "Are you okay? You look like you're gonna throw up." Finally, it was time to crack open the popcorn and settle in for the movie. Xander had finished wiring the player to Giles' barely used VCR, rigging it to record everything they saw onto a fresh tape.
That means no pausing or rewinding while we're watching, or the copy's going to look really screwy.
Giles nodded solemnly and began handing out notebooks.
I suggest we save any questions to the end. Please jot down any thoughts you have as they occur, and Miss Nichols can address them later.
The kids stared at him in horror.
You want us to take notes during the movie?
Xander shook his head in disgust.
What's wrong with this picture? If I can't pause the tape, we won't be able to stop and discuss anything.
Xander frowned.
Then maybe make the copy after we're done watching it? Ah, yes, of course. That should work, I suppose.
Giles settled into an armchair and waved toward the video machine.
You might as well start it going if everyone's ready.
The image on screen was oddly framed. A magical projection in a circular bowl, hovering weirdly around the top of Mickey's head. But nobody commented on that. Their attention was fixed on the scenes unfolding in the water behind her. Mickey leaned forward in her seat. "Oh, hey! That's Ronnie! Hi, Ronnie!" She waved at the screen, then stopped, blushing. "Oh, wait, it's just a video. Never mind. Oops." A pause. "Ronnie's crazy, but she can see the future." Giles paused the tape.
Clearly you were tiny when this happened. But Jack Gray's right there with you. I thought you were enlarged prior to meeting him.
"I could still change back, though. I did that a lot when we first met up. Good for sneaking. And also, I could sit on his shoulder and whisper stuff in his ear."
I see.
He resumed playback briefly, then paused again.
And what can you tell us about the white-skinned woman?
"That's Taylor. She's cool. Useful in a fight. She helped out a few times." Buffy frowned at the Watcher. "Have you seen this already, Giles? You've got your questions lined up before we even get to look." He had the decency to blush faintly before admitting,
I skimmed through it a bit. Watched a few glimpses, just to make sure there wouldn't be anything unpalatable.
"You mean you didn't want Xander seeing any naked succubi? Got it." Willow raised a brow. Or maybe he wanted to check for naked succubi so he could see them first. Giles frowned.
Yes, haha, very droll. Now, back to the question. This woman, Taylor, white skin, red eyes, and fangs.
No idea how magic works in this, but it doesn't seem impossible for a movie Ronnie to answer Mickey. That would be something. Mickey nodded along. "She's a vampire. She usually wears sunglasses during the day, so most people don't notice." Buffy blinked. "During the day? Vampires on your world can go out in the sun?" "Taylor does. She doesn't like it, though. She says it makes her slow and headachy." Giles made a note.
Evidently, vampires on Verity's world are different from our own. The eye coloration alone was enough to make me wonder. What else is she capable of?
She's fast and strong and tough, and probably immortal. She's smart, too.
Right. Interesting.
He resumed playback, and after a few moments, the scene shifted to a fairly ordinary classroom. There was a hubbub of voices and movement, and the viewpoint drifted back and forth around the room. Taylor stood at the front of the room, wearing dark glasses with side panels, just as Mickey had said. Oh, I know this! Mickey bounced in her seat. We were infiltrating a school to look for somebody. I was pretending to be a kid, and Taylor got a job as a teaching assistant.
So you have been in a school before?
Asked Giles. Not for learning. This was for sneaking. Oh, there's Dana. Suns are different in different worlds in Buffy and Angel canon. Pylea's sun doesn't hurt Angel, but in Pylea, Angel's vamp face is a green berserker demon.
Ew.
Taylor's something different. Vampiri. Vampiri?
Vampiri. I'm told it's pronounced Vampiri.
Vampiri. Okay. Just like... But obviously the same etymology, or a branch of the same etymology as vampire, huh? The picture focused on a raven-haired girl a few rows ahead. As if sensing she was being watched, the girl suddenly turned and looked straight at the camera. At Mickey. Her eyes widened, and she spun back to face the front. She saw through my illusion pretty quickly. Mickey tilted her head. That's the exact same face Buffy made in history class. The scene blurred into nighttime. Outdoors, fast-moving. Mickey was chasing the girl through a busy town center. They ran through a crowd, the girl shoving people aside in a blind panic while Mickey leapt overhead or teleported past. I think this is where... Yep. Dana stopped suddenly and pulled a gun from her pocket. Stay back, she shouted. I just want to talk. Dana fired, several bright flashes. The picture jerked and dipped, then steadied as Dana took off running. She vaulted across a lane of fast-moving traffic and turned again to face the camera. Mickey glanced down at her hands, both covered in blood. She growled and leapt after the girl, landing a few meters away in the middle of the road. You can't stop me with guns, shouted Mickey. That's okay. The girl glanced aside and the camera followed, just in time to catch a fast-moving coach. The image blurred and Giles paused the tape. Everyone looked at Mickey, who blushed guiltily. I got in so much trouble for that.
Trouble?
Yelled Xander.
You got shot and hit by a bus.
I sort of made myself solid after she shot me, so when the bus hit, it went scrunch. She wrapped a hand around her fist to demonstrate. I teleported away afterward, but it was on the news, so Jack knew. She sighed. And Dana got away. Buffy sat back. What was her deal, anyway? Possessed by a dark god named Netherworld. He wanted her to be his version of what I am for Verity. His best friend? Guessed Willow. A super-powered badass enforcer, Buffy corrected. Ronnie saw a vision where Dana killed us all, and Netherworld took over as the new god. Mickey reached over and grabbed a handful of popcorn. We killed him, though, so that never happened. Obviously. And that's the end of that, apparently.
There's an ongoing riff, Mickey's story of how they killed Netherworld. She always says, oh yeah, last person we had a fight with a god and he's dead. Like, you killed a god? Oh no, I didn't kill him. Jack killed him. So he keeps accidentally bigging up how Jack killed this god, but it's never explained.
Okay.
Deliberately. Okay, the next one's a bit longer, so maybe we should stop there.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I should probably get cleaned up for our possible craft gathering. But yeah, I guess that's our usual 3 chapters at least. Phew. Did it. Next time, chapter 54, they started it. Phew. And this is gonna be more Mickey retrospective stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we have a picture.
Whoa.
There's a picture in it.
Oh, I see. Mickey getting zapped. I don't think I've ever seen a AO3 with pictures in it. Nope, nobody else bothers. Cool, though. Alright.
I've sent you a very, very old picture on Discord of a previous roleplay session where Mickey's playing xylophone on the bones. But Ice is playing Jack, and I'm just like, you can hear this noise like going tink tonk tink tonk, twiddly twiddly tink tonk, and he's like, what the hell?
All right. Yeah, it's the same here. Yeah, like I figured you probably could, but I'd never seen anybody actually do insert a an image.
It's hosted on my own site.
Oh right, yeah. So you can't just straight upload images to AO3. That makes sense. You have to
We've had 3
use a
chapters
Markdown link.
and I
Yeah.
only found 1 typo. That's pretty miraculous.
One typo,
considering
a couple of
the
Britishisms. Yeah.
The absolute shenanigans of the last session. Had like 6 spelling things in 1 chapter.
Oh dear. Well, that was one bit of advice that I got when I was taking classes in creative writing, was to read things aloud, and that helps you catch stuff. So here we are doing it. Many different benefits for you.
Peer review.
Yeah. Okay, well, any parting wisdom, teasers, or insults for us, John?
A fun thing when you're watching motorbike racing is to look at the tower and try and make words out of the little short names that they're given. You're putting them together. If you've got Piqueros being followed by Kelso, you're like, oh, I've got a pickle. And Binder's in front of Banyaya, so he's got bin bag. Yes. And one time, Diane almost jumped out of a chair. She says, I don't know if it counts, but we've got Buchanan, Carpe, and Ralston. When she looked at it, it said Buckaroo. It's like, yes! The best one.
Okay. You'll have to show me a picture of this tower. I guess I'm having a hard time picturing exactly what.
What it's just a black panel they have down the side with the 3 letters of the surnames. They've put their initial on as well. And Sam Lowe's left, and we were all saying, I think it's because on the board his name is SLOW. So it's just slow.
You don't want to be slow in motocross. Yeah.
I think it was because those are a lot of names. 2 Marquezes, a Marini, a Martin, a Morbidelli, there's Mia. So we're like, oh look, we've got Zame, Mama, Me, Mama, on the board. You can't tell who anybody else, who anybody is.
Good times, good times.
Two guys in the Moto 2s. We've got Celestino Vietti and Colin Via. So it's CVIE and CVEI. And they've both got an orange bike. And on the board, they've got an orange spot with a white number on it. So it's like looking at it like, who's who?
With doppelgangers and...
Make your own entertainment, even while watching entertainment.
All right. Well, in the meantime, I will look up City of Stairs. If nothing else, I can recommend it to Moth, because she does a lot more reading than I do lately.
Yeah, it was fun. It was pretty good. And then, if you do read it and you read the sequel, let me know, because I've sort of gone, I'm not going to read the sequel, because I enjoyed the first book, and I think the sequel might be all involved with political shenanigans and stuff, and it might ruin it.
Okay. Well, until next time, my friends, live with honor, and your heart is unassailable.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Good Pip.
Let me go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly. Let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go on a new adventure. It's my time, watch me build another life. Find another space, explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away, we won't see another day. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure. Adventure.